Hi, you're watching First Sports. I'm Rupha Ramani, and if you're just joining us right now, it's a cold, wintry afternoon, and coming in to give us some warmth, of course, is the announcement for India's T20 squad for the World Cup that's set to take place in India and Sri Lanka in the next few months. I'm going to quickly just look at the press release, which had the names of the squad first before we start to decode it and try and figure and make sense of this squad and what this means for India going ahead at the World Cup. So this is the squad that's been announced. Of course, you can see the names, some of the names flashing on your screens below me. But Suryakumar, of course, Suryakumar Yadav leads this T20 World Cup squad. For the first time, we have we don't have someone like Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma appearing in that list for a World Cup. So really, a very seminal moment for Indian cricket. It's a first time World Cup without some of the seniors who've been a part of this framework, this setup for many years. Suryakumar Yadav leads in, and of course, his vice captain is Akshar Patel. Yes, it's not Shubman Gill because he doesn't feature in this squad. We have Abhishek Sharma, Sanju Samson. Of course, they pick themselves. Tilak Verma, Hardik Pandya. Again, no doubters there for a T20 format. Shivam Dubey, another all-rounder, fast bowling all-rounder for India there. Rinku Singh for that lower order assault that we've gotten so used to seeing from also makes it to this squad. Jasprit Bumrah, again, the spearhead there of the entire bowling department, one of the senior most players in that current setup. Harshit Rana makes it, as well as Arshdeep Singh, someone you really can't put aside in a T20 format. Kuldeep Yadav, Varun Chakravarti, Washington Sundar, of course, make up for that spin unit alongside an Akshar Patel. And here's the surprise coming in end at the end, but with no shot of glamour and no shot of that punch with which he's announced his comeback, and that's Ishan Kishan. Ishan Kishan, the second wicketkeeper option. So let's quickly now dive in a little deep and decode what this squad means. Of course, India is going to try and defend the title. It was a historic win in June 2024. And that's exactly how Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and Ravindra Jadeja announced their retirement from the format in the most grandest of ways by lifting the T20 World Cup title in 2024. It was a monumental achievement, and it was a memorable campaign that we will not forget for a while to come. But of course, what's more difficult than winning a World Cup, any World Cup title, is to try and defend it. Very few teams the world over, across formats, across different uh, playing teams, whether it's the men's or the women's, have really done that successfully. There's a reason why very few teams are able to do it, because it is one of the most challenging things to achieve in sport, to try and double up, to defend a title. This is the squad, the selectors, the management, and of course the captain as well in conversation believes can do that. Suryakumar Yadav, let's start with the player at the top, the person who's going to lead the side onto the field. He's not really had the best of times with the bat, and the best part is he admits it. He's aware, in fact, in that brief presser where there was a Q&A with the media who was gathered at the BCCI headquarters at the announcement, even asked him whether that was worrisome. And both Ajit Agarkar, who's the chief of selectors, and the captain himself who were present there, both spoke about how, while there is a sense of concern, and it hasn't really been the best of times over the last few months with his bat, there is confidence. No other person could do the job at this point as a captain, as a batter in that middle order, as a senior batter in that middle order, other than Suryakumar Yadav. The faith is there. The management believes he's the man for the job. Suryakumar Yadav acknowledges the drawback, acknowledges the slump he's had in the last few months in this format. And that's the best part, because the only way from here is up. He said in the press conference that he will work towards getting back to what his job is, to anchor that middle order. He's done that in the past in many important campaigns for the country across formats too. He was also one of the most important cogs when it came to the 2023 ODI World Cup that India played in the subcontinent conditions. So you really cannot put that past someone of the caliber of Suryakumar Yadav, that when you bring it down to those big match scenarios, the big tournament scenarios, he will deliver. So that's the faith with which Suryakumar Yadav will lead this particular side. We then go down to the batting lineup. Obviously, the biggest responsibility of starting off the innings, whether it's to set a target or to chase it down, falls on the young and very fearless shoulders of Abhishek Sharma. He's really reveled in this role that he's had as the opener in a T20 format. He's done the job a number of times for India. He's got that confidence, the swagger, the bit of free spiritedness that comes with being an opener in any format, but yes, more so in a T20 format. And Abhishek Sharma is clearly the right man for the job. So the faith has been reiterated on someone like him. He features in that lineup as well. So too does someone like Tilak Verma. Again, there was this brief dalliance of which position they would like to see someone like him bat at. He was shunted up through that middle order quite a bit a while earlier, but he seems to have found that soft spot in number 3 and number 4. And that's exactly what happened in that last game. He came in at number 3. That's exactly what he can do. He can try and steady the ship in case there's an early wicket loss, and then he will explode. Perfect really for someone like Tilak Verma, and that takes the pressure off someone like Suryakumar Yadav as well when he comes later down the order. Again, when you look at that squad, you have someone like Hardik Pandya, who has had an amazing comeback in the series, took that time off, tried to recover, recuperate, rehabilitate from his injury, and this series he's really dug in and hit the ground running. Perfect signs for India as they head into a title defense campaign. Hardik Pandya, the kind of firepower he has, how he can absolutely annihilate an opening, a bowling attack anywhere, an opposition anywhere across the world in 10 situations, in trying to steer a run chase or to try and give that impetus in case there's a middle order slump. He's the man for you. He's the player who's really going to bail you out. So him being in good form again bodes well. He makes it to that squad. Shivam Dube has had a bit of an up and down year, if you really look at it. But that's the player they're really backing for that extra pump towards the end. So too, someone like Akshar Patel had a fabulous last T20 World Cup, really took the pressure off a lot of the players around him with the ball and the bat. A lot of the same is expected of him. And again, the vice captaincy has fallen back on his shoulders. He seems to be that person that the team would go to when they need something, when they need the person or the man of the hour in many ways. Because even when Hardik Pandya was in and out of the side, when vice captaincy was put on his shoulders and he had to then step back, Akshar Patel was given the responsibility of being the vice captain. The same has happened again this time. But he's someone who really enjoys the little bit of responsibility, doesn't really come in with that overpowering or the overwhelming sense of being one of the leaders, but he does so in a very calm manner. So again, a very important presence in that dressing room. Rinku Singh, for that young energy, for that little bit of spark that you need to come in, undoubtedly somebody who they look to for that cameo in the end, when you need that little bit of spark, that little bit of mayhem in the end to try and upset the rhythm of the opposition. That's what they would look to Rinku Singh to achieve. When you look at that bowling lineup then, Jasprit Bumrah, how difficult would it be for any opposition to even try and get past someone like him? Again, when you really think he probably will slow down a bit, the fact that he's not choosing too many international games to play, the fact that he's trying to give rest and just play those big moments, you can be fooled into thinking that maybe he would not deliver the best because he's not been playing that many matches. But he will prove you wrong and just show you why he's arguably, rather inarguably, one of the best bowlers, no matter the format. So again, a lot riding on his shoulders on how he will lead the bowling unit when it comes to the T20 World Cup campaign. You have a few youngsters there in Arshdeep Singh and Harshit Rana. Again, they've proved themselves in different phases. Harshit Rana came under a lot of flack for coming in there and not really proving his selection, but he has showed us that there is some potential there. He's given us bursts of brilliance. There needs to be a little more consistency there. Kuldeep Yadav, again, someone who's made a comeback over the last few years after being dropped, after not really after the management hasn't never after the management failed to show faith in someone like him briefly. But he's again a very key personnel when you look at the spin unit that India will field. So too Varun Chakravarti. What an amazing last few years he's had. The kind of confidence he in fact blossomed under someone like a Gautam Gambhir himself when it came to the Kolkata Knight Riders franchise in the IPL. He was part of their winning campaign. Again, what faith and what confidence can do to a player's psyche, to their trajectory, to the way they perform on the field, no matter the situation. The proof of that is Varun Chakravarti. Washington Sundar. I'm amazed at how well he's adapted himself to the different formats, to the different needs that the team has asked of him. Play down the order, I will do that. I will anchor the innings. I'll even score 100, no matter the conditions, even though it's in front of an opposition like England in England. He did that. You want me to come up and bat at number 3, number 4? I'll do it. Any role, any situation, with the bat or the ball, Washington Sundar has really shown the heart of a lion. So a very key component, especially when you look at the kind of format a T20 cricket demands of its players. So really, someone like Washington Sundar only adds that bit of X factor, that little bit of edge to any squad. And then I'll have to speak of course, about someone like Ishan Kishan. Has had an amazing last few weeks, in particular in these subcontinent conditions. Took his state, Jharkhand, his domestic side, to a maiden Saeed Mushtaq Ali tournament title win. In the first time they made it to the final, scored 100, and really has shown the BCCI and the management that having been dropped from that central contract, the kind of year he had in 2024, where BCCI had to absolutely discard him and say, you have not performed, you do not take domestic cricket seriously, this is the penalty you'll have to pay. Ishan Kishan could have withdrawn and gone into a shell. Any player could have absolutely derailed somebody, but he came back. He came back with performances in the IPL for the Hyderabad franchise. He came back just now with performances for his domestic side and making it count, not just doing it and ending up on the losing side. His contributions were valuable in getting his team across the line. And that's really what has made the management, the captain, the coach really take notice of his performance and give him another chance. And this is what is the beauty of cricket. Now we'll have to obviously speak about the absence of someone like Shubman Gill. Just to point out at this point, just to point out here to all of you who's joining us, the T20 World Cup squad has been announced. Shubman Gill has missed out on this, exactly like what we spoke about, what I spoke about as I built up to this announcement, to the squad selection yesterday, right here on your platform, where I questioned whether Shubman Gill will find a place in this squad. And look, like Ajit Agarkar had specified, had justified in that press conference moments earlier, that this is not questioning the credibility or the class or the abilities that a player like Gill possesses. He does. But where does his skill, his role fit into this narrative, into a T20 lineup, is what's the question here. That was the reason why even I questioned whether Gill would find that place, because while he is possibly and exactly how the management sees an all format captain for the future, he still has time on his hands. He still, and it's not just about how he fits into the plans. How do the balance and how does the combination work with the presence of Gill in that lineup? Do you miss out on the balance there of the team? Are you compromising on certain explosive batters who only boost a T20 lineup? So those are the questions that the management clearly had to ponder, had to think over when they made this call. It is a tough call. It is a tough call to leave out someone like a Shubman Gill from a World Cup squad because you want match winners in your 11. But you look at the squad here, you look at the 11, you look at the backups, and you see a possibly winning combination right here. Of course, there are a few little things that need to fall into place. There are a few players who are slightly out of form. In which position are you looking at a few batters to bat in? Because you do have some opening combinations there right in your squad. You have someone like an Ishan Kishan who can open as well as Suryakumar, as well as Abhishek Sharma, as well as Sanju Samson. So who is your final 11 going to be? I think that's also something that will be the next possible step. Of course, Suryakumar Yadav in that press conference did allude to it when asked what kind of combination would they look for. They do have a few plans in place, a few alternate 11s as well. So obviously, that's exactly how you have to think about it. And then you obviously think of how unfortunate it is for someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal, whom I also spoke about yesterday, missing the bus when it comes to the squad. But again, a youngster, fiery, uh, does have time on his hands, does have time to see how this team shapes up and how this particular cycle of World Cup will uh, go forward for this current Indian squad before he again makes it, because he does have the caliber to be a very, very explosive T20 opening bat for the national squad, like he does for his IPL franchise as well as, of course, his stateside. So, a lot of things coming out of this particular squad that's been announced. Of course, as you know, India is going to be one of the co-hosts of this World Cup, and that's the squad that we're looking at. So just to sum this up, as we wrap up, just a quick reminder: key takeaways from this T20 World Cup squad. Suryakumar Yadav will lead India to try and defend the title in 2026 when India starts its World Cup campaign as co-host of the edition. His vice captain is Akshar Patel. Shubman Gill misses out, so too does Yashasvi Jaiswal, but a lot of others along predicted lines. Ishan Kishan, that's the big news, makes his comeback there, as Ajit Agarkar put succinctly in that press conference. They're looking at him as an opening possibility. He's that second wicketkeeper along with Sanju Samson. That's what is coming out of the BCCI headquarters today. And of course, this is a space that we will keep exploring because the build up for the T20 World Cup has only just begun with the squad. There are, of course, many more news that will keep developing. So watch this space and keep following First Sports on First Post for all the latest and perspectives from the world of sport.